January 1933. Hitler becomes chancellor, not by force, but by invitation from politicians who thought they could control him. Within weeks, the Reichstag burns. Political opponents start disappearing into the first concentration camps. None of that was hidden. It was in the newspapers. But unemployment was cut in half within 3 years. The Autobahns went up. Families that had been starving during the Depression suddenly had bread on the table. So the average German in 1934 wasn't blind. He was making a trade. Yes, there's violence against communists and Jews and dissidents, but that's happening to other people. My family is eating again. The Nuremberg laws strip Jewish Germans of citizenship, published, debated, enforced in daylight. Kristallnacht. Synagogues burning. Jewish shops smashed on streets where non-Jewish neighbors walked past the wreckage the next morning. Historians point to this as the line even sympathetic Germans couldn't fully unsee. But by 1938, silence had a price. The Gestapo, the block wardens, the neighbor who might report you. Some Germans absolutely knew evil had moved in by now. What they lacked wasn't sight, it was safety. For the first 2 years of war, the myth holds, because the myth is winning. Poland in weeks, France in 6, then Stalingrad. Over 90,000 German soldiers surrender in February 1943, after Hitler personally promised the city would never fall. Letters home change. Rationing tightens. Allied bombs start turning German cities into rubble. This is when the war stops happening to other countries and starts happening on the average German's own street, and when the first resistance goes public. The White Rose students in Munich, executed for handing out leaflets calling Hitler a mass murderer. By 1944, the regime's own secret police surveillance reports admit what propaganda tried to hide. Despair, collapsing morale, open grumbling about the Führer's war. Many historians argue that by now, most ordinary Germans privately knew the regime was losing and monstrous. But knowing and acting are different things. The terror machine built in 1933 was still executing deserters in its final collapsing months. So the honest answer isn't one date. Some realized in 1933 and stayed silent out of fear. Some in 1938 and told themselves it would pass. Some in 1943 when the war came home. And some only let themselves fully see it in 1945 when the camps were liberated and the scale could no longer be denied. The uncomfortable truth the textbooks bury isn't that Germans were secretly evil or that they were all innocent bystanders. It's scarier than that. Ordinary people can watch evil arrive in installments and keep negotiating with themselves about when it's finally bad enough to act. That's not a German story. That's a human one.